Hi everyone, a very good evening. So thank you for joining this expert speak session. We will meet for a minute or two and then we will hand over the mic to our speakers and then we can start the session. So let's wait for a minute or two so that more attendees can also join in. Okay.
नहीं
Hi everyone, again a very good evening. So we are starting the session now. I have both the speakers with me. So I would like to introduce themselves. That first is Balaji Kamraj, who is a VP and Global Head of Talent Acquisition at Creative Synergies Group. He has worked for over 2 decades of experience in recruitment and talent acquisition. As the VP and Global Head of Talent Acquisition at Creative Synergies Group, he has plans and strategies for hiring in India, Japan, and the US branches. In the past, he had worked with Happiest Minds Technologies, Maverick System, and Global Edge Software. So thank you, Balaji, for joining this session and be the one of the speaker. We have another speaker we have with us, which is Surendra GS. He also has close to 20 plus years of experience in the human resource sector. He has helped transform employee-centric initiative across organization. He is presently the VP of HR at Creative Synergy Group. And before his stint at Creative Synergies Group, Surendra led the BFSI vertical and APAC Geo at LTI Mindtree and has also worked with reputed brands such as Intellinet Technologies and Global Edge Software. So Sudhendra and Balaji, thank you so much for joining this session. So I'm handing over the mic officially to both of you. You can take lead now. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Adit, for that warm introduction. Thank you, Balaji, for joining, and good evening to one and all. Thank you for joining us, for this webinar. I'm sure, it's a great platform for all of you to interact with us, understand, how things are moving from a culture, career perspective, and skills perspective. So today I'm going to walk you through, the culture part of it and the career part of it. And I would like to coin it as a C2C model, which is culture to career path. And these are two very important aspects which either make or break your careers. I know some of you here are going to create your careers, you're going to build your careers. It's so important to understand, what the culture of organization is. So let's start with a nice corollary as to what you can compare the culture to. As you can see, the picture on your screen, it is the iceberg. Now, just like an iceberg, where the visible portion is a very small part of it, but a whole mass of it is beneath the ocean. Very similar to it, when you visit an organization, you will see a lot of people talking, collaborating with each other. So this is the exhibited behaviors which you see at the workplace. And more importantly, I'm sure some of you are inquisitive to understand what shapes this culture. Balaji, if you can, move to the slideshow, we can show them, what are the patterns, which are driving, the culture behaviors. So as you can see, the visible portion is a very tiny part of it, but beneath the ocean, the invisible part is there. And that is what drives the entire iceberg. The best corollary to this is the company culture or organization culture. The organization culture is the DNA of the organization. Today, as you can see, the employee experience is driven primarily by the company culture. And if you are keen to know what characterizes the company culture, it is the values and beliefs and the personal spaces. So these are some things which are quite important to understand from a company culture standpoint. Balaji, we'll move on to the next slide. So let's understand, what is the culture. Now, culture is something, which either makes or breaks the organization. Culture is something which is created by the people. It is the set of values, beliefs, and the system. And it is the very foundation on which the organization is built. Now, the culture is something, which is reflected at the workplace by the employees, by the customers, by the shareholders. It is what you experience on the floor of the organization. Now, for example, let me give you an example here. The example is the culture of respect. For example, you walk into the organization and you meet a coworker. He greets you and treats you with respect, which means there is that culture of respect embedded in the organization. Then, we are so important, in terms of driving values that we want to deliver the best part of it to the customers, which means there is a culture of excellence which is embedded within the organization. And these are behaviors, which drive, the results. End of the day, what I want to say is, one of the takeaways from this is, as candidates, as employees, one of the things that you look for qualifying before you join an organization is, what is the company's culture? Yes, you will look at the roles, you will look at what is the fitment, you look at what is the salary which is offered, what are the skills which are aligning. But more importantly, one of the primary things which candidates look for is, how is the company's culture? Are they treating people with respect? Is there a culture of recognition? Is there a culture of leadership, trying to value its people? So it becomes the essence and the DNA of the organization, which drives. And today, we have seen time and again, in my experience, no matter what strategy you create, without the culture, the business impact is very minimal, which means uh, culture is the one which decides, the future growth of the organization. We'll move to the next slide, Balaji. Now let's look at, why is culture so important? Through, it is, we said people look at culture, before they join any organization. So some of the stats are in front of you. 77% of, the people look at, what is the culture before applying for the job. It helps the organization improve the employee retention, because more than 65% of the employees stay in the organization for the culture. Similarly, it is driving engagement levels. More than, 38% of people, want to move the organization because the culture has gone negative. Similarly, people are engaged, in the organization because, of the good culture. So the takeaway from this slide is, as I said, you look at the company's culture before deciding an organization. It can also be a trigger for some of them to look externally, to move out of the organization. So that's how important is culture. So let's look at, what are the good characteristics of the organization culture. Balaji will move on to the next slide. Now, if you look at, the importance of work culture, there are a whole lot of positive things, which get created. Once you kind of assimilate with the company's culture, you kind of bond with the people. There is trust and mutual respect which is built. Similarly, it helps drive, the sense of belonging. It creates pride because you're part of the organization. You start exhibiting the values. For example, we here at Creative Synergies believe in the culture of integrity, culture of excellence. Once you start internalizing the values, you start assimilating with the organization culture, and you become the driver of the company's culture. Balaji will move on to the next steps. So similarly, the culture drives whole lot of perspectives, including the career growth, and your whole lot of initiatives in terms of aligning with the organization values. And last but not the least, what I would say is the culture of continuous learning is something which is core and which forms the key of how your career growth happens within the organization. The biggest takeaway from this slide is, are you adapt at the pace of continuous learning? In this technology driven world, you need to look at continuously acquiring skills once in 2 years. Maybe when I started my career 20 years back, yeah, people would join with one or two skills, and that would help them to create a career for a decade or so. But with the rapid advancement of technology, every skill has a shelf life of just 3 to 4 years. You need to continuously advance and look at acquiring new skills as we move along, because there is rapid advancement in technology. And one mantra which will keep you going is the culture of continuous learning. We'll move on to the next slide, Balaji. And so, while we talk about culture, there is a whole lot of paradigm about what do I do? Okay, each company has a different culture. So how do I adapt to it? Please understand, every time, you're joining a new organization or you're trying to create a career, you're going through a whole lot of change management process. And it's more important that you be ready to accept this change which will happen, and more importantly, adapt to that change. Now, what happens when you join a new organization is there is a golden rule which is followed. The first 90 days would decide how you are adapt at assimilating the organization culture and internalizing it. So very important is, you need to follow some of these golden rules. These golden rules will help you, adapting to the company's culture. The first and the foremost is observe and listen. When you join a new organization, pay attention to how people communicate. How are they behaving? How are their interaction? Listen to people expressing their opinion, feedback, and resolve conflicts. That's the first and the foremost. The second is ask questions. This is paramount. Some of the people hesitate to ask questions thinking, if they could be wrong. No, I would say, ask questions and clarify so that you are in no doubt. Go and seek feedback. It could be your manager, it could be your mentor. Go and ask, how has been your performance? How has been your initial progress? Don't be hesitant. That's the golden rule number two. Now, the golden rule number three is, adapt your style and behavior. This is the most important, which will help you internalize with the change, because based on the observation, based on the questions, you're going to adapt to the style and behavior of the work culture. For example, the organization may have a very formal culture. You could be coming from a smaller organization which has been a little informal culture. That is where you need to do the shift. Try and adapt yourself to the formal culture. Now, the fourth golden rule is you need to build your relationship and networks. This is the most important of this all. While you absorb the change management, one of the things which will help you blossom your career in any organization is the way you're able to network and collaborate with people. Go and figure out who are those key people who are interested in you. Who are your mentors? Figure out who are your mentors. Ask them feedback. Try talking to them. Seek feedback, and more importantly, try and look for events to participate. Look for avenues to collaborate in your new workplace or your new organization. The last but not the least, which will keep you going is keep learning and keep growing. While, you internalize the culture, start performing, remember career is a journey and not a destination by itself. You need to upgrade continuously, and this is the biggest mantra that I have for each one of you who are on the webinar today. What can keep your career ticking is the culture of continuous learning. You need to learn continuously. The day you stop learning, thinking you have achieved something, you may become obsolete because of the rapid advances in technology. So keep your learning quotient on always. There is no end to learning. And in fact, as you start maturing, you will realize that you will have to make a deviation from learning to unlearning. We'll talk about that, later. But now we look at, these golden rules. And as I said, the takeaway from this slide for you is in terms of adapting to the culture, it's about building relationships and networking at the workplace. We'll move to the next slide, Balaji. Now let's look at what characterizes a good organization culture. We spoke about, a whole lot of things in terms of, the culture of respect, the culture of excellence, the culture of recognition. So look at the organization, whether people are being recognized, which means, they give importance to achieving results. There is culture of recognition. Is there an emphasis on employee satisfaction, which means there is a culture of keeping employees happy? Then is this organization promoting collaboration and teamwork? Is there a culture of collaboration? Is there professional stability? And more importantly, we as human beings always look for respect and being valued. Are there leaders who walk the talk? So the takeaway that I have for you from this slide is identify, who are your role model leaders in the organization who can walk the talk. And finally, working with them, can you be the culture driver in the organization? Balaji will move on to the next slide. Let's move on, in terms of understanding, one of the very important things we looked at, the culture piece. Now, from culture, let's look at how your career can, take off. One of the important things from a career perspective is when I meet people and talk to them, asking them, what are they thinking about their career, people often mistake it for a job. Not necessarily, every job that you take or every job change that you make, it will add on to your career, but look at it from how is it impacting your career. So what is a career? Career path is a long-term plan which includes specific steps or jobs that will help you advance to a desirable occupation or a new role, which means it doesn't mean that every job change you make, unless you've thought about it, it is a part of your career change. Career is a marathon and not a sprint. And when I talk to people, as I said, people get confused between jobs and career. So let me take you through this career path journey wherein you will understand, the emphasis of your career path. I would say that career path is differentiated or characterized by three P's. The three P's are the purpose, passion, and performance. While a career path gives you the direction, it is more important to understand what is the purpose of your career. Let me take an example. Say, for example, I'm in HR because primarily I'm driven by the purpose of being service oriented. Or there's a person who is in enabling function or support function because he finds a purpose in serving people. Similarly, you need to find the purpose of your career. Maybe your purpose is to be a geek. Maybe your purpose is to start a career in software development, being a software engineer, maybe being a business analyst, sales role. There are a whole lot of career options which are available to us, but it's more important to find the purpose. And to link to that, you need to understand what is your passion. Are you happy in terms of serving your client needs? Maybe then, you're happy at number crunching, you're happy in getting deals. That's your passion. You need to be in sales. Maybe your passion is into software development. You want to do coding, testing, or being an analyst or something else, which where you find the passion, or maybe there is a sports person who's found a passion in that. So it's all driven by your purpose and passion. If you meet your purpose and passion, performance is automatically generated because you're able to provide valuable contributions to the organization. And this uh, elevated performance would provide you the career satisfaction that you are looking in terms of your career. So remember, the takeaway from this slide for each one of you is find your purpose, find your passion. This will automatically determine your performance. And remember that next time when you're having a conversation about a job change, it's not about job change, but how is it adding up to your career path? Are you in line with the career purpose that you have initially planned to? That's the kind of conversation that you need to have yourself. And for this, maybe you need to figure out, as I said, build networks in your organizational vicinity and figure out who is the mentor who can help you guide this. Let's look at in the next slide how career paths can be drawn upon. Balaji, we look at planning the career path. So the primary essence of drawing your career path is the first and foremost step. Whether you want to be a software developer, you want to be a tester, you want to be a designer, you want to be a salesperson, business analyst, it's about you need to do a honest self review of yourself and underlying what are your interests and passion. That's the foremost thing. Once you've done your self assessment, you need to assess your current skills. You need to value your strengths, which complement the organization. Maybe you find a lot of interest in selling. Then you need to be in sales. You want to be, as I said, you want to be doing coding, software development. That's the kind of skills that you need to be assessing yourself. Look at where you are today and where is that you need to progress. An honest assessment is going to help you moving up your career ladder. The third and the one of the most significant things as part of your career path is learn to excel. Once you've understood your destination, try and supplement those skills that you need to have. And there are avenues for learning. Maybe your current job requires you to do few things which you are not aware of. Please go discuss with your manager, mentor, and figure out what is the impact point which needs to be created. Then, as I said, the fourth one is about seeking help from a mentor, which will help you navigate the organization and develop your network. And finally, the action, work on your industry knowledge, domain knowledge. One of the primary skills, if a lot of people here are freshers, start developing your skills, which is required to do your job and focus on building your domain skills. For example, I'm a software developer. I'm in the domain of automotive. Start understanding what is the automotive domain. If you're in the banking domain, start understanding how does banking domain work. And we'll have Balaji talk more about skills. He will help you more on how to acquire those skills and what are some of those important skills. The last but not the least is review your goals and performance. Understand what milestones need to be achieved by end of the year, end of the quarter. Discuss with your manager, seek feedback on your performance. These are 6 important steps which will help you plan your career path. And before I hand it over to Balaji, just look at some of our core values, that we have at Creative Synergies. We have the culture of integrity, the culture of delivery excellence, being able to deliver the best to our customers. We would encourage innovation, so the culture of innovation stands out, value and respecting the employee. Thinking globally is the benchmark that we want to create. And finally, the customer focus, which helps all the organizations thrive and succeed in this very, very competitive world. I hope I was able to add value and give you some takeaways as part of developing your career. I'll stay and would like to hear if there are any questions on the culture and the career part. Maybe Balaji, you can take it over from here. Over to you, Balaji.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Sujan.
Thanks,
Hey
Ujjain.
guys,
Balaji. So, Balaji, before you start, we want to launch first poll. So, just give a minute. So, all the candidates and the attendees, we have some poll question as well for you. So, maybe you can we request that you show your interest and participate in this, please. Okay. So, I've launched the poll. You just need to select one of the radio buttons. Okay, so Sudhendra, approx 90% plus attendees are finding the session informative and engaging, and close to 10% are finding the session somewhat engaging. So we have a good number of means voting from the candidates. We can move to the means Balaji's presentation slide. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. We'd like to hear from them.
so thanks a lot, Sujan, for your time so far. And good evening, guys. I am Balaji Kamraj, Head of Talent Acquisition, working at Creative Synergies Group. And first of all, I would like to thank you for having chosen to be with us in this evening. About myself, I have got about two decades of hiring experience. In my career, I would have hired about 10,000 plus people for my current as well as my past organizations. I'm sure I will be able to bring my experience and knowledge that I've gained so far to the table today with you guys. And I'm hopeful that today's session will be meaningful for all of you. Today, I have chosen to cover three important topics which I felt are very, very important for you guys to understand, learn, and acquire those skill sets and knowledge. When I was searching for a job, I was deprived of these informations. Therefore, it took some time for me to get steady in the job market and then acquire the jobs or kickstart a career. So me being in the talent acquisition function, I felt these are the three top titles that I have to talk to you guys. Therefore, it will enlighten you in terms of your employability and being industry ready. So I'm going to cover three topics. I told you the number one topic is going to be the essential power skills that an organization would look for from a potential candidate. It's more of a behavioral skill sets that we would look at. And then we'll also talk about the emerging trends in the industry at the moment. Finally, the most important topic that I would suggest you guys to pay more attention is that the on-demand skill sets, the hot skill sets that the top employers are hiring at the moment in the industry. So let's take a look at one by one. So the essential power behavioral skill sets for you to be successful are time management, number two, adaptability, number three, collaboration, and the final one is communication. These are the four powerful behavioral skills or personality skills that you have to acquire for you to be competitive in the industry. Let's take a look at them one by one in brief. Communication skills. There are various forms of communicating with people. Verbal is one of the most important form of communication. Speech is nothing but the spoken form of communication with the people. For you to be good at this, you have to acquire at least the basic grammar in terms of your sentence construction or tenses in terms of past tense, present tense, and future tense, and the active passive voices. So some of the basic grammar that you have to pick up for you to be good at the spoken form of communication. On top of it, you have to be good at the vocabulary power. You have to learn not less than 2,000 new words and its meaning, and you have to memorize them. Therefore, you can be better in spoken form of communication. And also writing, it's a combination of a set of words and symbols. Therefore, here also for you to be good at that, conversant in that, you have to be good at both grammatical way of communication as well as the vocabulary power. Next comes to the non-verbal way of communication, body language. This takes a very important stage here. Body language is nothing but the combination of physical behavior, then the way you express and your mannerism. So example, when somebody is speaking to, say example, when you're speaking to a colleague or a friend, if you wear a smile on your face and have a tight eye contact, there is a high chance that you gain more confidence and the control over the conversation that you have with them. The paraverbal communication is nothing but how you use your tone of voice and the pitch and the volume of your communication. So example, if you want to appreciate someone, if you say very good, it sounds very plain, isn't it? If you say very good, it sounds better. What if you say very good, it sounds even more better, isn't it? So the paraverbal communication is very important and it plays a very important role in communicating with people. Proxemics, it's all about how effectively you use your physical space. The example is that when you're sitting in a room and you're trying to convince your friend or a boss about your idea, if you sit next to them and then try to convince them, there's a high chance that your idea will get sold. However, if you sit across the table at a distance, there's a remote chance that your idea will get sold. So it is about how effectively you use your physical space available around you. And active listening is a very, very important non-verbal communication skill that you have to acquire. Writing is one of the important way of communication. This is more of majorly used in the business environment when you are designing a user manual, or if you are building a product catalog. You have to have a formal style of communicating in terms of communicating the content in a very precise, concise, and clear way. No slangs are being allowed in this professional writing. Next thing is the collaboration and teamwork. I'll give you a live example of how we work in office environment. Generally, our end goal is to deliver a project to the customer. All right. Always the project starts with discovery phase. Then you have to do a architecture and design. Then either you manufacture a product or produce a product, or write a code for the software, and then test the software or quality check the product, and then deliver the product or deploy the software. Right? Even to deliver a product, simple product, there are lots of steps involved in this. Therefore, in a team environment, very important that all of us are having shared objectives. Each one should know what is my objective. Therefore, we can collectively achieve the final output. Number 2 is respect each other. This is very important culture. I'm sure Sujendra would have covered in the previous slides. When you're working in a team environment, you will get diverse perspectives. In fact, you may get differences of opinion as well. So all these are bound to happen. However, it is very important that we respect each other, value each other, and value the contributions of others too. When you're doing collaboration, two-way communication is very, very important. This will give you a clarity of thought and feedbacks are received on both the sides, which will result in clear-cut alignment on the goals that we need to achieve at the end of it. Fourth one is task allocation. Task allocation has to be done to the individual based on the skill set, strength, and their availability. Last but not the least, joint problem solving. This is the very essence of collaboration and teamwork, I would say. If you work in a team, you will get diverse perspectives and expertise as well. Therefore, it's very important that we collaborate and gain all of our strengths to come out with innovative solutions in a joint manner. Adaptability. Adaptability is nothing but the ability of the individual or a team or an organization to be able to adjust to a new condition, environment, or a situation. So let's take a look at these key aspects of this adaptability. We have to be very flexible. We have to be a quick learner. We have to be a problem solver. One need to be good at resilience, and you have to be emotionally intelligent. In today's world, take any industries for that matter, banking industry or manufacturing industry, plant engineering, oil and gas industry, anything for that matter, the emerging trend that is catching up is the digital transformation, right? Those industries or organizations that are catching up with this digital transformation at the early stage are leading the game. Those who are not catching up at the early stage are losing the game. So therefore, the adaptability of an individual or an organization is very much important for them to be successful. Finally, the fourth point, power skill, is time management, which is a very favorite subject for me. In my day-to-day activity, I get a lot of tasks. What I do is that I keep assessing the tasks in terms of which are critical, which are high priority, which are medium level, which are low priority. Therefore, we spend most of our energy and focus on identifying those critical and high priority tasks. Once they're identified, set the clear-cut goals, establish the goals in terms of clarity, and define the timelines within which we have to complete those goals. Once we set the priority and definition of goals, it's very important that we don't procrastinate. We have to take actions promptly and avoiding delaying the tasks unnecessarily. The crux is that we have to avoid procrastination. So far, we have seen the power behavioral skills. Let me take you through the emerging trends. Today, for the discussion, I have chosen 4 different industries: manufacturing, software, automotive, and plant engineering. It's very important that we are aware of what are the emerging trends that are catching up, the skill sets that are catching up in the industry. Therefore, you acquire those skill sets and the knowledge by which you can become an employable person or an industry-ready person. So let's start looking at the industries one by one. Under the manufacturing engineering, the Industry 4.0 and robotics and automation are the key emerging trends. Within Industry 4.0, some of the trends are cloud computing or smart manufacturing or connected manufacturing or cloud computing or digital analytics. These are some of the trends that are catching up in the Industry 4.0 era. Moving on to software engineering, the artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, cyber security, Internet of Things, and DevOps and Agile methodologies are thus key trends that are emerging in software engineering. Under the automotive engineering, electric vehicles, hybrid, plug-in hybrid vehicles, autonomous driving, especially the advanced driver assistance system, self-driven vehicles, and cybersecurity are the key trends that are emerging in automotive engineering. Under the plant engineering, especially the oil and gas, digital twin in oil and gas industry, RPA in the oil and gas industry, and the advanced data analytics in the oil and gas industry. These are the emerging trends that are catching up in the the oil and gas industry. So guys, so far we have seen the power behavioral skills and the emerging trends in the industry. Now we have come to the very, very important stage in our discussion, the on-demand skills, the hot skills in the industry that every top employer is hiring in the market on a high note. Especially at Creative also, we are hiring these skill sets on the in a big way. So let's take a look at the on-demand skills in the software industry. There are multiple disciplines. I have tabulated them one by one. Especially, I have spent my time on this particular topic. Therefore, I will be able to give you a very precise surgical list of skill sets which are useful for you to acquire those. Therefore, you get industry ready. So let's take a look at the software industry set of on-demand skill sets. Start with the cloud platform. Is one of the most hired skill sets and under the software industry. The AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform are the key skills under cloud platform. The next discipline is programming languages. Java, Python, JavaScript, C#, C, C++ are the key skills under programming languages. Under the AAML, the artificial intelligence and machine learning, NLP, computer vision are the key skills. Data science and big data, Apache Kafka, Apache Spark, Hadoop are the key skills. Cybersecurity, the concepts like threat detection, mitigation, compliance and standards such as GDPR, HIPAA, ethical hacking and penetration testing are the key skills. The hot skills under mobile development are native mobile development skill sets such as Swift for iOS, Kotlin Java for Android. Cross-platform development hot skills are Flutter, React Native, and Xamarin. Development, you have front-end technologies like AngularJS, Vue.js, React.js. Under backend development, you have Java, .NET, ROR, Django, Python. Full stack development is a combination of both front-end development skill sets and backend development skill sets. DevOps discipline, we have CI/CD, that is continuous integration, continuous deployment. The skill sets are Jenkins and Travis kind of a skill sets. Infrastructure as a code. Skill sets are CloudFormation. Monitoring and logging skill sets are Prometheus, Grafana, ELK Stack, and Splunk. Under the user experience and user interface design skill set, understanding of user-centered design principles and practices are very important. Under the UI design skill concept, proficiency in designing tools such as Sketch, Adobe XD, and Figma are important. So these are the highly hired skill sets under software industry. Let's take a look at the skill sets, on-demand skill sets under the manufacturing engineering. The disciplines are CAD software. Under the CAD software, AutoCAD, SolidWorks, CATIA, and Siemens NX. Also 2D, 3D modeling software. Then CAM software skill sets such as SolidWorks, Solid Edge, AutoCAD. Industrial automation skill sets like robotics, simulation, PLC kind of skill sets. Finally, the 3D printing skill sets. These are the hot skills that are being hired in the manufacturing industry. Let's take a look at the oil and gas industry. Start with the modeling and designing of a plant. The hot skill sets are AutoCAD Plant 3D, PDEMS, E3D, SPPID, SP3D. are the hot skills. Under the stress analysis engineering, CISR2 and the AutoPipe are the key skills. Then for the pressure vessels design analysis, PV alight and compress are the key skills. And for the modeling and designing of steel structures and BIM, Tekla and Revit are the key skills. Analysis of structure, StatPro, modeling of design of electrical and instrumentation. Skill sets are smart plant electrical, smart plant instrumentation, Instrucal and CADWorks. Mechanical rotating and system packages, Tank, Code, Calc, and software administration skill sets for all the software that we have discussed in this slide. So with this, let me take a pause. I'm kind of covered so far the essential power skills, especially the behavioral perspective. And then we have discussed about emerging trends. And finally, we have discussed about the hot on-demand skill sets that every employer, top employer, is hiring at the moment. I'm sure by acquiring these skill sets like power skills and catching up with the emerging trends and acquiring the skill sets that we have discussed in each industry, I'm sure if you put in your efforts in catching up with these industry trends and skill sets, I'm sure it can become a industry-ready product in the future. So thanks a lot for your time, and thanks for being patient so far with me. Over to you, Adil.
Thank you so much, Balaji. So candidates, we have few more poll questions, and after that, what we'll do, we have few questions as well in the chat box. So we'll ask Balaji and Sujendra for their opinions on that. But before that, I need your participation in the poll questions. Okay. So I'm launching one new poll. Just choose one of the options and submit as soon as possible. Okay, so 90% plus of our means the candidates or the attendees are currently looking for a job. So this is the trend, and close to 8% are considering it shortly but not actively looking. Okay, I think this makes sense. So I'm closing this and I'm launching the last poll, and after that we'll move to the Q&A section. Okay, so close to 70% of our audience are trying to pursue the career opportunities in computer science engineering only, and the less are bifurcated into civil, electrical, mechanical, and electronics. So yeah, this is good. So I'm closing this poll and I'm trying to publish the result as well. Okay. So Balaji and Sujendra, now we have few interesting Q&A sections questions. I will read out to you both, and maybe one of you can take this up and help the candidates. So first question is, as a fresher, how I can join in IT field, because everyone wants experience. So I guess this is a very generic question, but yeah.
What, Balaji?
Yeah, for IT, so as long as, of course, we have discussed some of the prerequisites in this call itself. So as soon as you come out of the college, you have to pick up some of these emerging skill sets. If you are going to, I mean, of course, it's what is important is that you are aware of what are the key trends that are resonating in the industry, right? Be it a cloud, be it AML, be it cyber security or DevOps. You have to choose one of it, right? And then understand what are the skill sets or what it takes to acquire the skill sets in that particular area. But every company, they would largely look at how good you are in programming, how good you are in testing, right? And can we put you onto the hardcore development or a kind of developing an automation framework, test automation framework, or put you onto the deployment area, say example DevOps area. So based on your programming language skill set, they will decide to put you either on development, testing, or a deployment, right? So for everything, the basis is the programming language. So you have to be good at either of the programming languages. You can pick and choose either to be good at Java or a .NET or C, C++ or a C#, some of these areas. So the crux is that you have to pick up one programming language, learn it thoroughly, right? And also understand the testing concepts, then understand the deployment concepts, and then appear for the interview process. They will figure out, based on your competency, they'll figure out where to put you on, right? Once you join the organization, they will provide you further trainings on how to hone your skill sets. So for you to appear the interview process, right, or your profile to get selected, shortlisted for the interview process, you need to acquire one programming languages, testing concepts, and the deployment skill sets.
Thanks, Balaji, for the detailed response.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
perfect. We'll move to the next question.
So Surendra, moving to the next question. So the next question is, what would you recommend? Okay, what would you recommend to someone from a BCom banking and insurance degree? Would you recommend pursuing a job in this industry or moving to some else hot industry? What skill set would you recommend for upskilling?
Yeah, go ahead, Balaji.
Yeah, see, my take, if you are a BCom person and if you want to be pursuing in IT industry, again, you have to start from the scratch, according to me, right? I'll have to give you some practical answers out here. When in the IT industry, those people who are given preferences are the ones who are from the software, computer science background, or electronics and communication background, or information technology background. Already we have the pool sizes enough for the employees to be able to choose from that pool. If you want to compete with those guys, you will have to start from the beginning in terms of the software skills, the basics of software, all that you will have to learn and then compete with them. If you ask me, right, for you being a BCom person wanting to pursue into IT industry, it's a good wish, but it's a tough nut to crack, according to my feedback. What do you say, Sujan?
Yeah, it is challenging. Nevertheless, whoever asked this question, if you're clear that you want to create your career path in terms of being in software development, software engineering, then you may have to do an MBA in systems. That's extremely important. While we are not discouraging you not to pursue a career in software development, like Balaji said, there are basic essence in terms of software engineering principles and methodologies which you need to be acquainted with. I think it's a good idea. While it is challenging, doors are not closed. Try and pursue an MBA in systems. That could be a door opener for you. Yeah, Adil, we'll move to the next question.
Thanks, Balaji. So next question is there is on-demand skills required for electrical engineering and how to start? I mean to say how to reach the companies, because I passed out in 2022 and preparing for government jobs. But as the time flows and family pressure need to be hired as soon as, so what I should do now?
Electrical engineering, so this is the discipline that is required in every type of industry. Anything, you take manufacturing industry, you take oil and gas industry, plant engineering, right? Wherever there is a machine, where there are machines, there are buildings, there has to be electrical designing that need to be done, right? There are a lot of plenty of opportunities. Of course, I have not covered those in today's call in detail, but there are on-demand skills you can acquire, and there are opportunities in the industries such as automotive, then plant engineering, manufacturing, heavy engineering. There are plenty of opportunities in the electrical engineering side. You can give a try.
Thanks, Balaji. So we'll take one or two more questions. So I guess the last or the second last question is, what is your guidance on higher education for working professional? I am a diploma holder with 8 years of experience. So this is the question from one of the candidate. In addition to that, I personally want to understand, and maybe the other candidates can take their input from this, that is there a salary difference if after, let's say, 8 years of experience, I switch from a diploma and pursue a bachelor degree and then again joins a company, or maybe I'm a graduate, I tried doing postgraduate and then again pursue my career. So what do you guys suggest? What is your opinion on this?
So Sujay, would you want to take up the question on higher education?
Yeah, sure. First of all, good that, I would like to appreciate whoever is this, who is asking about higher education. While diploma is not bad at all to start your career, it's always about, as I said, how can you elevate your careers? Today, organizations look at premier educational qualifications. It's a very, very competitive industry. You're competing with, Bachelor of Engineering, MTechs. So maybe, it's not a bad idea to pursue, a BTech or a BE, where the course could be, probably completed in 3 years or so because you already done your diploma. So do look at your options, but if you want to compete, I would say go for a B. That would be the best, is what I would suggest. Yeah, options of MCA are always available, but B would be a great option, that you can look at the table. Anything you want to add on?
To add on to your answer, Sujain, would like to add on to your answer. See, again, let me give you a practical answer. The pool of engineering folks available at the moment for us to consume is more, right? If given a choice and chance, we will always go for industry-ready people, right? In the sense, at least the engineering folks, engineering B, BTech, ME, MTech, MS folks. So, as Sujain said, it's very important that you pursue the engineering and higher education. Therefore, you become competent and you can compete with other folks as well. Coming to the salary differentiation, the real fact is that there is a salary differentiation, right? The salary that is being paid for the engineer from a normal institute versus a premier institute, there is a difference. Within engineering, there are differences like this. So now comparing between the diploma and then engineering, there will be a difference. At least 20 to 30% difference would be there between the compensation. So for you to, if you want to earn more, if you want to be competitive with the other folks, you need to have, in your case, you have experience also. That is going to be an important value addition for you. Just an extra mile that you have to put in, have a higher education, adding on to your overall feather. I'm sure that will take you in terms of your career promotion as well as compensation. Yeah, next question, please.
Thanks, Balaji. So I guess these are the most of the question, and I think the question which has been most repeated is, as a fresher, what all skills would we acquire to get into get a job at the starting level? So especially what all skills is it required? Yeah.
That's the content of today's the session, I would say in a plain way, first of all, you should know how you should be able to communicate with people, right? You should be able to converse, to be able to confidently share your views. So for that, you need to have communication skills. That's very, very important, the bare minimum, right? And then you also need to acquire some of the technical skills. Therefore, you will be able to be a industry-ready product. Every company, they would want to hire a person wherein they would spend less time in training them, put them on a project, and start the billing. This is the way this is the language we speak in the organization, right? We have to make the people billable at the earliest. Therefore, the revenue starts ticking in for the company. So pick up the bare minimum skill, that is communication skill, and pick up the technology skill, and then try to better yourself on those skill set. Therefore, you are called for the interview process in an organization, and in that interview process, you are able to prove that you are good at technical, as well as you are able to communicate to them that you are good at technical, and you will be able to solve the problems of the customers. So these are the two things that I would say are the key skills that they need to acquire at the earliest.
Absolutely, spot on, Balaji. It's about if there are freshers who are listening to this webinar, as Balaji said, you need to look at your communication skills and why would companies hire you? Companies know that you are a fresher. You don't have decades of experience. So which means they're looking at your ability to get trained. So keep your learning quotient high. Show organizations that you're capable of learning fast. You can make a difference. I would say that's one important thing which you need to internalize and showcase during your interview discussions. And all the best to all of you who are, standing up for interviews. And remember that it's just not the job, it is aligning with your career plan. That's the most important. And another pitfall, as freshers, I want to just add on is when I talk to people, and ask them, hey, why did you pick up, this career in testing or development? Can you believe the most common answer that I get is, sir, my friend joined this organization, so I'm following him. It's great to follow people on Twitter, Instagram. It's absolutely fantastic, but don't follow your friend's career path. Please look at what is your individual career path and how you can be successful. That's the takeaway point that I want to share with all the freshers who are trying to build your careers here. Thank you, Adit, and wishing all the people who joined our webinar, wishing them the very best in their career building process. And thanks for providing this opportunity, to share our ideas, experience, thoughts, and I hope they find it useful. It's a great platform, and thank you, Naukri, for this.
Thanks, Sujendra and Balaji. So,
Thank you so much,
Balaji,
guys.
if you have any closing words, please. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for having chosen to be part of this call and be with us. I'm sure we have done justice to you guys by giving you insights on some of the way we look at the industry, the way we look at, while hiring folks or while looking at you guys for our future employee perspective. So what is important is that you need to acquire these skill sets in terms of how do we assess the company in terms of culture perspective, acquire the important skill sets, catch up the emerging trends, and some of the important behavioral aspects that you have to catch up. Only then the companies will look at you as a prospective candidates, prospective employees. Then they will try to hire you and get you on board. So please catch up these skill sets and make yourself ready for the industry. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Wishing you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.